Have you ever met someone who seems completely empty, like no matter what happens, good news, bad news, even something shocking, they barely react? It's almost unsettling. You might wonder, do they even feel anything at all? Today, we're diving into the psychology of people who appear to have no feelings and what's really going on beneath the surface. Now, first things first, people who seem emotionless aren't necessarily broken or incapable of feeling. In fact, most of the time, it's the exact opposite. Their emotional world can be incredibly complex. It's just hidden, suppressed, or processed in a way that's very different from what we're used to. Think about emotions like a volume dial. For most people, it fluctuates naturally, sometimes loud, sometimes quiet. But for some individuals, that dial has been turned way down, either by choice or by life experiences, and often that starts early. If someone grows up in an environment where emotions aren't safe, maybe they were punished for crying, ignored when they were upset, or surrounded by chaos, they may learn to shut emotions off as a survival strategy. It's not that they don't feel sadness, fear, or joy. It's that feeling those things openly once came with consequences, so their brain adapts. It says, let's not go there. Over time, that coping mechanism can become automatic. They stop expressing emotions, then slowly they stop recognizing them. It's like a language they once knew but forgot how to speak. There's also something called emotional detachment. This can happen when someone has been hurt repeatedly, betrayal, loss, disappointment. Instead of risking that pain again, they build walls, thick ones. And those walls don't just block pain, they block everything. Happiness, excitement, connection. It's a trade-off, less pain, but also less joy. And here's the thing that might surprise you. Many people who seem emotionless are actually highly sensitive deep down. They feel things intensely, but they've learned to suppress it so well that nothing shows on the outside. It's like an iceberg. You're only seeing the tip. There are also personality traits and conditions that can play a role. Some people are naturally less expressive. Others might struggle with identifying and describing emotions, a trait known as alexithymia. It doesn't mean they don't have feelings. It means they have difficulty understanding and communicating them. In more extreme cases, certain mental health conditions can contribute to this flat emotional appearance. Depression, for example, doesn't always look like sadness. Sometimes it looks like numbness, like feeling nothing at all. People describe it as being empty, disconnected, or just blank. And then there's the social side of it.
Вот прям хорошо.
We often expect people to show emotions in very specific ways, smiling when happy, crying when sad, reacting visibly to big moments. But not everyone follows that script. Some people process emotions internally. They might feel deeply but quietly. So when you encounter someone who seems like they have no feelings, it's worth pausing before making assumptions. They're not necessarily cold, uncaring, or indifferent. They might just be protecting themselves, or they might experience the world in a way that doesn't match what we expect. Interestingly, these individuals can sometimes excel in high-pressure situations. Because they don't react emotionally on the surface, they can stay calm when others panic. They can make decisions without being overwhelmed by feelings. But again, that doesn't mean they're unaffected. It just means they've learned to manage it differently. But there's a downside too. When emotions are constantly suppressed, they don't disappear, they build up. And eventually they can come out in unexpected ways. Sudden anger, burnout, or even physical symptoms like fatigue or tension. The body keeps the score, even when the mind tries to ignore it. Connection can also be a challenge. Relationships rely on emotional exchange, sharing, empathy, vulnerability. If someone struggles to express or even access their emotions, it can create distance, not because they don't care, but because they don't know how to show it. So what can help? Awareness is the first step. Learning to recognize emotions, even in small ways, creating safe spaces where feelings can be expressed without judgment, and sometimes working with a therapist to unpack those layers that have been built over time. At the end of the day, people who seem like they have no feelings aren't empty. They're often just guarded, overwhelmed, or disconnected from a part of themselves. And if you look a little closer, you might realize there's a whole emotional world there. It's just quieter than most. And hey, if this made you think differently about people around you or even about yourself, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and stick around for more content like this. You never know what insight might change